Hello, everyone. It's Sue here, and welcome to your 20-minute practice that I'm calling Healing from the Inside Out. This particular practice has a combination of things that we're using, acupressure points, movement such as yoga, and I'm going to suggest that maybe you have an essential oil if you use them. If you don't, that's fine. I grabbed Balance because it's a really good nervous system balancing oil, but you could use anything that's more calming, like cedarwood or lavender, even frankincense. So we're going to start here, and I'm going to ask you, if you're using this, to put 1 drop on your hand, not more than that. Rub your hands together, cover your nose and your mouth, and breathe in 3 times. Nice inhale. And exhale. 3 nice deep breaths. And after you've done those 3 breaths, you can release. Now for this practice, we're going to need a bolster or maybe a couple of blankets, a pair of socks, and your oil. Okay, we're going to start on the floor. And I want you to start lying on your back in what we call constructive rest. So you lie down and you bend your knees. And I want you to bring your knees together and your feet apart. This is called constructive rest pose. It's really nice to release tissue in the inguinal inner groin area. And then put your hands on your belly. And I want you to start to breathe, not in a deep, aggressive way, but just natural breathing, and draw the breath downward so that you feel a rise in your belly with your hands. And then when you exhale, you feel a gentle release. You can close your eyes if you like. We know that when we take these nice, what we call diaphragmatic breaths or belly breathing, it's one of the quickest ways to tap into the vagus nerve or the vagus nerve bundle. And we know now, with our culture being the way it is, our lifestyle being the way it is, that this particular vagus nerve bundle is not very well toned. It's kind of sleeping, and it's not really doing its job very well, connecting the messages from the organs, especially the gut, to the brain, and vice versa. The reason it's important to tap into this nerve bundle is because when it's toned properly, we will have more access to our rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. Because when we live a chaotic, busy, stressed life, we are not tapped into that very well. We live in that sympathetic fight or flight nervous system where no healing can happen. So if you don't have any other time in the day and you just start to belly breathe, you're going to do yourself a big favor. All right, so go ahead and bring your feet together and knees separate. We're going to go into a twist here. And this particular practice is not necessarily supposed to be hard or deep or aggressive. We're tapping into different things on purpose to create responses in our nervous system, our stress response. So you saw me grab a block, and that's because I know my body so well. In fact, I could probably put one on each side. We're going to go into an easy twist. So we're going to start moving to the right. So I'm going to ask you to bring your hips over to the left and pick your legs up. Once you do that, you can rotate your legs over, and you can see that I'm going to land on the block I put on the floor, because I know in my body I can't go all the way down. Left shoulder, right shoulder on the mat, arms are open. Now you can turn your head if you like to look at your left hand. But I want you to be able to continue that belly breathing here. So if you go so far or so deep that you cannot breathe into your belly, you need to back up. Either move your knees away from your body or put more support underneath your knees. We'll take a good 4 or 5 breaths here, letting the body settle into this shape, into this position. And the reason you don't want to make the twist too hard, too aggressive, is because we're trying to talk to the connective tissue along the spine and the nervous system that runs up and down the spine. The nerves that talk to the lower limbs and the upper limbs and the torso. So it's different than the vagus nerve, although the vagus nerve is also being stimulated here. Next, inhale, go ahead and put your feet on the floor, come back to your center. Pop your hips over to the right, bring your knees up and travel over to the left. Making sure that your shoulder stays pretty anchored to the floor and that maybe you turn your head and look towards the right here. Taking 4 to 5 nice deep breaths here. So when we live in this pretty continuous stress response, I'm sure you've been hearing about this all over the place if you read anything current at all. Between our screens and the news and the busyness of the world, we don't have much chance to restore our nervous system response. And this is why it's so important to do a practice like this. It helps your body to remember, oh yeah, this is what I want to live. This is what I want to do. I don't want to stay in that other state. Because that other state just fills us with cortisol. Take one more breath here. And then allow yourself to come back to the mat, bring your hips back in the middle, and maybe take a second to, give yourself a little hug. When you feel ready, we're going to come up into a seated position. You might want your blocks or your bolsters or whatever handy that you have. So we're going to start in butterfly pose, but before we do this, I want you to stimulate an acupressure point called kidney 1 point. And sometimes it's lovingly referred to as bubbling springs. But you've got on the bottom of your foot, you've got the ball of your joints of the toes here, and then you've got the arch. So right in the middle of your foot, there's a natural place where there's an indentation. I want you to take your 2 thumbs and press into those. So I want you can press and release, you can press and hold, you can do little circles. It doesn't really matter, but this is the end point of what they call kidney meridian, which runs up the outer leg, up along the spine and towards the head, and it stimulates the kidney area and the adrenals, most importantly. And it is said that if this part of your foot is tender, that meridian channel is blocked. And if it's blocked, your energy is depleted. Have you ever had acupuncture and they put a needle here? All right, another minute or so. Just take your time with this. Give it one good, really strong push. Let's give it a really good, strong push. And then release it. Now you can keep your feet in this shape. I'm going to move mine forward a little bit. You can bring them closer, whatever feels better to you, but I don't want them all the way into your body. This is not this particular pose we're doing. So take your right hand, put it on the floor, reach your left arm up along your ear and laterally move. Now I want you to release over, and then when you come up, you're going to inhale, and we're going to go again. Exhale and just release over, trying to keep your arm along the side of your head, inhaling and come up, and exhaling and release over. And then we're going to come all the way up, and we're just going to switch sides. So take the other arm up along your ear. As you inhale, you roll over. As you exhale, you come up. Just take your time. doing this kind of a practice is not about going fast or deep, it's about the specific actions. Now we're just going to go back and forth. So letting your arm drift down and go up and over. Let your head release if it wants to. And then go up and over and drift down. We're talking to the outer sides of the body, what I like to call the yin sides of the body. They're very sensitive. So you want to go gentle. You want to just let your body go where it wants to go. There's no striving in this particular practice. No striving. Last one on this side. Alrighty. And then from here, just let your hands rest on your shins. You're going to inhale, get taller, and exhale, start to float forward. What I'd like you to do is not pull so much with your arms, but just let your body release down. If you happen to have a block or maybe a bolster nearby, you could let it sit on your feet, and you could let yourself rest over here, rest with your head in your hands. Maybe you might have a block, and you want to have your block under your forehead. This is one of those practices that we're going to stay for a bit and breathe. Stay for a bit and breathe. Feel the breath moving in the back body because the back body is nice and open. But you might even notice that there's some breath in the belly. If we can tap into this parasympathetic nervous system and tone the vagus nerve, we're not trying to calm it, because when it's calm, it's not working. If it's too rigid, it's not working. It should have this tone, that this fluidity that communicates well with the gut and the brain. If we can tap into this, this is where the healing happens. So if you have any kind of dis-ease in the body or in the mind, this particular nervous system response will help you. Now we go back and forth into that fight or flight and rest and digest. Our body's supposed to be able to do that. If we accidentally step off a curb and almost fall, that's a little bit of a stress response, but then we recover. I always think of dogs because I have a dog, and dogs, when they shake, you've seen a dog shake it off, they say. That's the dog regulating its own nervous system. That's what we need to learn how to do. All right, from here, take a nice deep breath. And then you're going to move your way up, move your way up, move your way up. You can take your bolster, your block, and move it off to the side. From here, you're going to lean back just a little bit and take your feet open. And we're going to let the legs drop over to the side. Now, if your hips are tight, bring your legs closer together. If you've got more freedom, bring them apart so they're both laying on the floor. I'm going to turn a little so you can see. I'm going to take my back arm and I'm going to come around so that I'm leaning on my left hip. It'll be your right hip if you're on the same side. And there's a twist happening in my body. You can stay right here, take a nice deep breath, or you can come down on your forearms. I'm not going to encourage you to come down on your body because I want your spine to stay nice and long. Okay, I don't want you to collapse. We're just going to be here for a moment, feeling and sensing into, again, another spinal twist, this time with your upper body. So breathing into any place where there's sensation, any place where you notice a little stickiness. Maybe there's a little fear. Can you tap into that belly breathing again? Take a nice deep breath here. And then slowly bring yourself up. Let's bring the legs back in front. and we'll go the other direction. So feet apart, drop your legs, and then turn. So you're on your other leg now. And remember, if your legs feel tight, just bring your legs closer together. You can stay up on your hands, or you can come down on your forearms. And we'll just take a couple breaths here. Breathing into any of those places. Again, I'll remind you that you may or may not feel the same on each side. The goal of this particular practice is to regulate your nervous system response by using different things like breath and oils and postures. It's not to strive or go deeper into a twist response or make it the biggest you've ever done. Let your body have an opportunity to have balance. We'll take one more breath. And then pushing yourself up. Now from here, we're going to come to all fours. Hands and knees. And this is a little flow that I want to end with here. You're welcome to choose two options. So I'm going to turn my toes under, and I'm going to walk my hands forward just a little bit. So they're ahead of my shoulders. As you inhale, come forward just a little bit, kind of open up your eyes and maybe your heart. Exhale, move back towards your heels. Excuse me. Inhaling and coming forward, eyes and heart up, like a cow pose kind of thing. Exhale, maybe draw the belly in slightly and go back. If you want to add on, you're going to come forward, and then in the middle, we're going to lift the knees and go into a dog pose, exhaling. And then inhaling back into that table, eyes and heart up, and then back to the heels. So the choice is yours. Again, I don't want you to overwork, but coming into a dog pose has its own benefits for the nervous system, as long as you don't feel strain or stress. And back. And inhaling, moving with your breath here. So the breath is moving the body, not the other way around. And we'll do one more round, feeling and sensing into what you need. And every day it might be a little different. Some days it feels really great to move around a little bit more. Some days a little less. All right, this last time when you hit hips to heels, bring your hands under your head and rest. Or put your arms down by your side and rest. 3 breaths. Then when you feel ready, I want you to bring yourself up. And we're going to prepare for the end of this 20 minutes. And if you were using an oil, I want you to use it again. Only this time we're going to put it on the bottoms of our feet. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on my hand and rub it on the bottoms of my feet. Why am I doing that? Because the bottoms of your feet have the largest pores in the body, and it will absorb the oil itself. All right. And then once you've done with that, I want you to put your socks on, because it's really vital that we stay warm in this last part. And if you happen to have a blanket nearby or a shawl or something else that you could cover yourself up with in a minute, you are welcome to do that. If you happen to have a wall, like I have a wall, we're going to put our legs up the wall. But if you don't happen to have a wall, you can put your legs up on your bolster. And I could do a makeshift, because I have blocks here also. I could do bolster and the blocks. So if I didn't have a wall, I would lay down with my feet and my legs elevated. Now, they're not very high, for sure, but they are higher than my heart and my head. If you happen to have a wall space, just swiggle your way around and put your legs up the wall. I don't care how close you are to the wall. And if you want the full Monty and you have a bolster, you could slide your bolster underneath. Blanket will work too, underneath. So now you can see my legs and my hips are higher than my heart and my head. And this is actually what we're looking for. I don't care if your legs are bent or straight, doesn't matter to me. And we're gonna lie here for maybe about 3 minutes so that we can get a full response. And if you don't have any other time in your day and you want to do one thing, this is the thing to do. This is the thing to do. It has so many benefits. Everyone can do it. Even if you have a hard time on the floor, you could do it in your bed with a bunch of pillows. You just have to make sure that the legs are higher than the heart. And if you can, the hips are higher than. This is where you might close your eyes and allow yourself to have a moment of sweet surrender. Our bodies are always trying to find homeostasis, that balanced state. And there's a lot of research and study being done now on the health of our nervous system and these stress responses. It's so vital for our stress response to be in a balanced state where it can move from one side to the other as it needs to, and then come back to some sort of homeostasis. And when the nervous system is regulated, all the rest of the system is regulated. So if you happen to have gut issues, think about this. If you happen to have metabolic issues like diabetes or hypoglycemia, think about this. If you happen to have heart issues, think about this. This is a deep system that we need to pay attention to more and more often. All right, so take one more breath here. And then go ahead and lower your legs wherever you are, roll over to your side, and we're going to come up into sitting. And this is our final practice that we're going to do here. You can sit on your feet like I am. You could sit cross-legged on your block or your bolster. I want you to sit in a way that you're very comfortable. You could even get up and sit in a chair. Now, I'm just going to preface this. You can stay in this meditation for as long as you like after I close this practice. For sake of time, I'm only going to keep you here a couple of 2-3 minutes again, because I promise you 20 minutes and it's at 20 minutes. So I want you to let your hands rest on your lap, or you could cradle your hands in your lap, touching your thumbs, either way. Close your eyes. And start to go back to that belly breathing, just gently, no force. And I want you in your mind's eye to say the word on your inhale, so, and on the exhale, hum, so, hum. So is on your inhale, and hum is on your exhale. That's a universal mantra that means I am. And it helps to anchor the meditation, so you have something to focus on. We're giving you 2 points of focus. One is breathing, one in the belly, and one is so hum mantra. You could do both. Practice of meditation has been well researched to have a very positive effect on the brain, the nervous system, in our health and general well-being. This particular practice, this 20-minute practice, helped to regulate your nervous system so you can sit and meditate. Now, if you want to sit and stay, please do. If you're ready to get on with your day, bring your hands together, rub your hands together, cover your eyes, and then slowly and carefully start to lower your hands while you open your eyes. Thank you so much for being with me in the 20-minute practice for healing the body and mind from the inside out. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, yogis, namaste.